Buenos días, amigo. Bon dia, amigo. Buongiorno, amico. Bonjour, ami. As you may have noticed, I just greeted you in 4 languages, but there was something that sounded similar, wasn't there? You're right. I just greeted you in Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and French, 4 of the most spoken Romance languages in the world. Un poco de agua? Un poco de agua? Un po d'acqua? Un peu de? It's easy to perceive the similarities between Romance languages. But just how much Spanish can you understand if you speak French? And how close together are Italian and Portuguese? In this video, we'll talk about how similar Romance languages are, and we'll also take a closer look at how much bonus knowledge you get by learning one of them. Interestingly, the term romance does not refer to love or passion. Instead, it originates from the Latin word Romanicus, meaning Roman. Tracing back to the Roman Empire, there were 2 types of Latin, classical and vulgar. Classical Latin was primarily employed in written and official communication. However, in daily life, the language of common people was vulgar Latin. As Roman soldiers and traders ventured across lands, they disseminated this version of Latin, which mixed with other local languages and took on new forms in the different regions. Over time, this variant evolved into different languages such as Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian. Each of these Romance languages developed its own identity and unique features, but they all share a common origin. Nowadays, we can say there are 5 main Romance languages: Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian. There are also a number of regional Romance languages, including Catalan, spoken in the northeast of Spain, Occitan, spoken in the south of France, and Sardinian, spoken in Sardinia, Italy, among other minor languages. In terms of similarity to Latin, Italian remains the least changed. French has traveled furthest in terms of pronunciation, while Romanian has changed the most in terms of vocabulary, though it has preserved Latin grammar more faithfully than the other Romance languages. So, what does the Romance language family have in common? Obviously, a lot. In this video, we will focus on 2 prominent similarities amongst the 5 main Romance languages: grammar and vocabulary. The Romance languages are known to have similar grammar forms and sentence structure. Let's take a look at some features that they all share. Word order. Romance languages follow a subject, verb, object, word order and use similar prepositions, as you can see in these examples. My friend's subject is reading verb and adventure book object. Verbs. Romance languages also share the verb conjugation system, meaning that verbs are conjugated according to tense, gender, and number, and also the level of formality. What in most languages comes after M, the last part of the root, is the ending that gives information about the person and the tense. So, for example, the O in amo means that the person is I, and the tense is present. A lot of information in a single vowel, as you can see. All Romance languages have 2 genders, masculine and feminine, and they usually have an ending that tells which gender the word belongs to. Typically, the A for the feminine and the O or a consonant for the masculine. Take a look at how similar these words are, except for Romanian. The use and meaning of prepositions is very similar in all the Romance languages. Take a look at this example. This sentence means, I am traveling to Madrid with my family to explore the city. The preposition a, which means to, is very similar in all the languages, as well as con, which means with. Same goes with the last preposition, para, which means in order to, and it's very similar in all the languages. The sentences, except for Romanian, are easily intelligible, aren't they? All Romance languages share a lot of similar vocabulary. This does not mean that the words are exactly the same. Instead, this means that a lot of terms show the same roots and sound more or less similar. Here are some examples of how similar words are among Romance languages. As you may have guessed, this sentence means the red key is under the table in the kitchen, and it's easily intelligible in all the languages if you know at least one of them. The Ethnologue, a huge catalog of languages around the world, uses what they call a lexical similarity coefficient to measure how strongly the vocabularies between different languages overlap. As you can see in this table, all 5 languages show lexical similarities between 71 and 89%. The following language vocabulary pairs are very similar to each other: Spanish to Portuguese and French to Italian, both with 89% of lexical similarity. That's a lot, isn't it? This means that knowing Spanish, for example, will definitely make your life easier if you decide to learn Portuguese and vice versa. And that speaking French will allow you to understand more written Italian than you might expect. Isn't that incredible? Let me show you a couple of examples of these language pairs. The first language pair is Spanish-Portuguese. Can you guess what it means? Correct. Good morning. How much is this book? It costs 20 euros. Thank you. Bye. Let's take a look at the Italian-French pair. This one means, hi, my name is Mirari, I am 39, and I am a Spanish teacher. As you can see, each pair of sentences is very similar, and when speaking slowly, speakers of both languages can easily guess the meaning. That's certainly a plus. So, is it 5 for the price of 1 then? Let me start by saying that although each of the major Romance languages requires its own dedicated study, knowing one can certainly help you navigate the rest. The time you will need to learn the second Romance language will be much shorter, and your motivation will be higher, as you will be able to understand the sentences from the very beginning and therefore start communicating with native speakers right away. What are you waiting for? Start learning a Romance language today.
If you learned something new from this video, give it a thumbs up. Then, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. Have a look around our channel for more hacks and tips. And if you're watching on another social media platform, like or follow our page. See you next time.